Hey guys, it's Greg here with the Vinyl Rundown, and it's time for yet another record store day, Black Friday. We've had, 3 or 4 record store days this year because of the COVID and the lockdown. Anyway, the big one for the fall anyway, is it winter? Fall, is coming up day after Thanksgiving, Black Friday. And let's get into some of the releases that I'm looking at, which is mostly jazz type stuff. A lot of stuff on the list. I'm only going to go through about a dozen or so, but I am going to go back and forth by looking at the website here. So the website is in alphabetical order, as you might expect. And unfortunately, that means we're starting with one of the very best releases because it starts with the letter A. A surprise, a sleeper, if you will. Monty Alexander, the Jamaican piano player. And I'm going to probably state that wrong. Is he Jamaican or Brazilian? Of course, I should have been better prepared. He's from one of those countries, and this was recorded in 1982 at a restaurant in Florida called Bubba's, and it's a very intimate live club gig, except it was recorded on super high quality audiophile level 24-track analog by a guy named Mac Emmerman, mastered by Bernie Grundman by RTI. This is one of the best sounding records in recent memory. And if you don't know Monty Alexander's piano playing, I didn't know him that well until I got a copy of this. He's very energetic. He really playful, fun, works with the crowd. Everybody's having a good time when Monty's playing. This is a 2-record set on Resonance Records. And Resonance Records, you may know, does a lot of archival stuff. Why do I have a copy and it's not even record store day? Well, if you watch my channel, you'll know I did an interview with the producer of this record, Zev Feldman, a couple weeks ago. He has an unprecedented 4 records, all new material, coming out on record store day. So Monty Alexander absolutely sounds fantastic quality, and the playing is wonderful. He tends to do covered tracks, but not exactly old standards. So interesting song material. Some of these songs I don't know, but I'll let you check that out. I won't spend too much time on any given record here. These are hand numbered, and this is a set of 2,000 records. So let's go down the list and see what else is coming up for us. So I got to go do some scrolling. And next we're going to get to Dave Brubeck. Let me pull that up. Of course, am I on the right page here? Dave Brubeck. Yeah. Dave Brubeck, a Christmas record on Verve called Christmas Lullabies. It's only 2 songs. 2 songs on one side and a Christmassy etching right into the vinyl on the other side. I'm not very excited about this record. The cover is pretty dull, and you might love Brubeck. I got lots of his records, but this record, unless you really need a stocking stuffer for a Brubeck fan, I'm not too excited about it, to be honest. Let's see what else we got here. Let me do some scrolling. Get back here. I think we missed one alphabetically. We're going to go backwards just a little bit. We forgot a guy that's not very well known, and technically it's not jazz. Come on. Slow computer. Bombino. Bombino is a Nigerian guitar player and singer and songwriter, I guess. This record, live in Amsterdam, 2-record set. Check that out online. I think you'll like that. That's a new artist. He might not be new, but he's been around a while, but new to most people. Check out Bombino's music. I've started to get into some of this African, North African, West African stuff. Tuareg, I guess it's kind of a tribal thing. I'm not an expert by any means, but very interested in the sound of these types of records. So let's move right along on the list here. Who's next? We're getting into the letter C. Are we? Yes. And this is another record that I have a copy of. George Coleman in Baltimore. Oh, where is it? Come on, George. Here we go. George Coleman, tenor player. Again, somebody who's not as well known as they should be. George Coleman actually played tenor on 5 Miles Davis albums in the second Great Quintet era right before Miles Davis. So this is a single disc recorded live in Baltimore in 1971. And actually, he didn't personally have any solo albums until 77. So this is a good sounding live set, more standard type tunes. Afternoon in Paris, I Got Rhythm, Body and Soul, Joy Spring. Good sounding live record from a underappreciated sax player, also produced by Zev Feldman, but it's coming out on Reel to Reel Records, if you can see the logo there. Reel to Reel is Canadian, I believe. Okay, going down the list alphabetically. Okay, there's an interesting record by Dr. Demento. Technically, it's not jazz. It's called First Century Dementia, the oldest novelty records of all time. Back in the 20s and 30s, when the 78 RPM era, there was a lot of stuff. Let me fix the screen here so you can see some of this stuff. A lot of novelty records were really a lot more popular than they are today. When was the last time you heard a novelty record on the radio? Maybe Weird Al once in a while, but people like Bill Murray, Billy Jones. Do I know these people? Some of them. Eddie Cantor, funny tunes. Fido is a hot dog now. I don't know that song, but I'm sure they're hilarious. So Dr. Demento stuff that was originally on 78 RPM, way back in the 20s and 30s. Okay, what's next? Technically not jazz, but okay, here's a Christmas favorite. Guess who? Where is he on the list? Vince Guaraldi of Charlie Brown and Peanuts fame has a record on here. And this is called Christmas Time Is Here. And this is just a 7-inch, 2,500 copies. Christmas Time Is Here. You've all heard that song a million times. And if you're a jazz fan, you probably have the full album of this on Fantasy, one of the biggest selling Christmas records, one of my favorite Christmas records. What do you need another copy of this one tune for, other than there's an alternate take? Another record where they slapped together some alternate takes and bonus tracks, lifted them off the cutting room floor, and decided to throw it on a record for you good people. So unless you're looking for a stocking stuffer for a Charlie Brown or a Vince Guaraldi fan, I would probably pass on that. Next, we have a good one, really good record coming up next here. Alphabetically, we've got Herbie Hancock Trio from 1977. And these are members of, I just mentioned, the classic Miles Davis second Great Quintet, which is Herbie Hancock and Ron Carter on bass and Tony Williams on drums and Miles Davis. Wayne Shorter replaced George Coleman. We probably know that. This is a really nice record. It was only released in Japan in 1977. So I think this is the U.S. release, the first U.S. release, I should say. And they went to some trouble to replicate the original Japanese packaging with, what do they call that, the OBI strip, that thing over there. So I listened to this online. Good sounding record. It's got Milestones, Speak Like a Child, Herbie Hancock classic, and Miles Davis classic. So that one I think will be sought after, since that music is not readily available. Then going down the list, okay, very interesting and strange record here. I got to go to page 2. And Jazz Sabbath. Have you guys heard of Jazz Sabbath? Let me pull that up here for you. Jazz Sabbath, 1,500 copies, exclusive. Let's see, maybe I'll pull up the artwork for you. Can you see that? Jazz Sabbath. It's jazz versions of, guess what? Black Sabbath music. And look how they tried to recreate the Blue Note design. That's kind of a throwback to the Freddie Hubbard, one of his records on Blue Note, kind of mimics the design of the rectangles. So Jazz Sabbath, I don't want to call them a novelty act, but Their press release says that this was a record that came out in 1969 and then was lost, and then some rockers stole their idea and put together a band called Black Sabbath. Okay, that's a PR gimmick, obviously. The person behind this is named Adam Wakeman, and can you guess? He's Rick Wakeman's son. He's a well-known multi-instrumentalist, played with Ozzy. I think he played with Black Sabbath, both piano and guitar. This is a nice record of very original arrangements of Black Sabbath tunes by a jazz trio setting. Okay, what's next on the big list here? And that's an interesting record. I'm trying to get those guys to do an interview, or at least one of those guys to do an interview with us. We'll see. They said not now, maybe later. Then we have a Nora Jones release from Blue Note, and fan of Nora Jones, but this is, what screen am I on here? But this is yet another sort of EP bonus track, alternate version, cutting room floor stuff that wasn't good enough to release a couple of years ago. So I would probably pass on that unless you're a mega Nora Jones fan. And then, let's see, we're going alphabetically here. We're getting into the R's and S's, and I got something special for you. So just hang on. Guess what? I missed the biggest freaking release of the whole thing. Okay. Since I don't know my alphabet that well, let's back up to the E's. Okay. Let's back up to the E's with a guy named Bill Evans. This is going to be, for jazz fans, one of the biggest, most important releases from Record Store Day. Bill Evans live at Ronnie Scott's Club in London. And again, it's on Resonance Records by Zev Feldman. And this was a never-before released trio setting from 1968 with, is this Eddie Gomez and Jack DeJohnette? Two absolutely fantastic players. Three fantastic players. Bill Evans. This is the third one I have on Resonance from Bill Evans. Double record set. Deluxe limited edition of 7,000 copies. The fifth official release that Resonance has done. Mastered by Bernie Grundman. Pressed at RTI. Let's crack this open. Sorry about the noise there. But the packaging that Resonance does on these is fantastic. Instead of a photo, they're using a David Stone Martin original piece of artwork. The lettering is new, but never before released piano there with Bill. Can you see the photography? And really the prize with all of these records is the inner booklet. And they go to a lot of trouble on these inner booklets. Great photography, interviews, and articles by Zev Feldman, by Chick Corea and Jack DeJohnette talking about how important Bill Evans is. And other people, Chevy Chase. Chevy Chase is a huge jazz fan, and he was friends with Bill Evans. And he's got an interview in here. So that will be one of the hottest tickets of Record Store Day for jazz fans. Oh, excuse me. New Bill Evans. Newly discovered Bill Evans from Resonance Records. So now back to the alphabet after Nora Jones. We were going to see how I screwed up the dramatic sequencing I had all planned here because I don't know my alphabet that well. Very next page. There it is. Oh, can you see that? Yeah. Of course you can see that. Alphabetically, who do we have next? Oh, the R's. Another one I have a copy of. Sonny Rollins, live in Holland, 1967. Also on Resonance Records. So Sonny Rollins was in Holland in 1967, and there are 3 recordings that are featured on here. So this is a 3-disc set. This one might be pricey. I don't know what they're going to price this at. But side A is a studio session at the Hilversum Studios in the Netherlands. 4 Loved Walk In, Tune Up, Blue Room, classic tunes. Side 2 is, let's see, One Night at the Go-Go Club in the Netherlands, May of 67. And then sides C and D, wait a minute. I'm missing two sides. Sides C, D, E, and F are at another club whose name I can't pronounce, the Academy voor Bildende Kunst Arnhem. Maybe that's a college or something, I don't know. But 3 records, giant, three-way fold out. Oh, can you see all that? I don't want to make too much of a mess here, but massive collection of never before released Sonny Rollins material. The first side that's recorded in the studio, very good sound quality. The other ones are more like archival, not audiophile quality, but great playing, energetic playing from Sonny Rollins. So we're near the end of the list here, guys. Let me just double check and see if there's anything else on the list here. I'm going alphabetical. And what else was I going to tell you about? That's kind of it. There's a couple other interesting things on here. Let It Bleed, Collector's Edition by the Stones, one of my favorite records of all time. What do I need another copy for? I probably have 3 copies on LP and 2 on CD. How about Nancy Sinatra and Lee Hazelwood, one of my favorite tunes from that era, Some Velvet Morning. That is just a 7-inch. But if you don't have that song on some other format like the LP or CD, very cool tune. Oh, here's an interesting one. I'll throw in one more and then I'll let you all go because we're going on a long time here. These guys, Sun, not Sun O. I think they just call themselves Sun. And how would you describe this band? Gothic, drone, death, gloom, metal? I don't know. They're a very, one of those genre bands. I like them. I have 2 or 3 of their records. On this record, they collaborated with Merzbow, very noisy, industrial kind of a artist. So, and they do a deconstructive interpretation of For Whom the Bell Tolls by Metallica. So, not exactly jazz, but I do get outside of jazz sometimes and into some other stuff. So, Sun, Flight of the Behemoth, only 800 copies, so that will go fast, and that will go up in price on eBay. And a word to those people who go out on eBay. I've seen some of these records on eBay already. I saw this on eBay, I think for 100, and I saw the Bill Evans and the Sonny Rollins for 149. Okay, guys. Okay, these people are scam artists. If they're selling stuff they don't even have in their possession, I really have nothing good to say about somebody who goes to record store day to hoard stuff and then jack up the price. Shame on you people. Go home. It's supposed to be all about the music. You're helping ruin record store day. Record store day already has some problems, like I mentioned before. So many records are just junk. They've culled off the cutting room floor and slapped together to throw onto a release. So I avoid that stuff when I can. All this stuff, this jazz I showed you on LP is stuff that's never been heard before. And if you're a completist for some of these artists, you're going to want to have that. The Monty Alexander. If you don't have any Monty Alexander, this would be a great first and only record to get from his because it sounds fantastic. And that's one thing I like about Record Store Day is discovering new artists. So there's so much recycled stuff from old artists that, you know what I'm saying. How many versions of a Rolling Stones song do you need? But the diehards will be out in force, lining up early, 6 feet apart. And I may be there too. I'm there almost every Record Store Day. But anyway, guys, happy shopping, happy holidays, and don't forget to subscribe if you feel like it. Let me know what you picked up at Record Store Day. I've already shown you what I got early. I'm the lucky one, I guess. But check out that interview I did with Zev Feldman. I also did an in-depth video on the George Coleman, a little bit more about his history. So that's it, guys. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, let me know what you're thinking, and keep spinning, and I will talk to you later. No. Oh, don't end it.